So is this the end of the road for Shinzo Abe? This Prime Minister has resigned before for the same reasons, health, and then made a return. It's not for nothing that he's called the comeback kid. Now he's 65 years old. As he exits office, he's leaving behind a rich legacy and a special one for India. Shinzo Abe has been India's friend. He has backed India on global platforms and joined hands with India in developmental and strategic projects. Here's the story of Abe's relationship with India, complete with a Ganga Aarti.
In 1957, Japan's then Prime Minister Nobusuke Kishi was visiting India. Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru threw a grand reception for him. Nobusuke Kishi was the leader of a nation defeated in World War II. He was touched by Nehru's warm welcome. After returning to Japan, he narrated his experiences to his young grandson Shinzo Abe, who many years later recalled the episode before Indian parliamentarians in New Delhi. Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru brought my grandfather to an outdoor civic reception at which tens of thousands of people had gathered, introducing him to a crowd energetically, saying, "This is the Prime Minister of Japan, a country I hold in the greatest esteem." This is a story I heard as a little boy from my grandfather. As the leader of a defeated nation in a war, he must have been very much delighted. That story drew loud cheers from the audience. Shinzo Abe established an instant connect with India. But his plans to expand Japan's relationship with India had to be delayed. Abe's first term as Prime Minister ended rather abruptly. He resigned within a year due to health reasons. He returned in 2012 and encouraged deeper ties with India. Abe found an ally in Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In 2014, he began focusing on building a strong relationship with India, Australia and ASEAN nations. It was a move that was seen as an attempt to offset China's growing influence in the world. Soon after Prime Minister Modi's thumping victory in the 2014 election, both leaders stayed in close contact with multiple bilateral visits. In 2014, Abe was the first Japanese Prime Minister to attend India's Republic Day parade as the chief guest. As Prime Minister, Shinzo Abe has visited India 4 times. But perhaps the most memorable one was this. In 2015, Abe visited Prime Minister Modi's constituency Varanasi to witness the Ganga Aarti. India signed an agreement with Japan to build its first bullet train, a project that will connect Mumbai and Ahmedabad with a high-speed rail line. Both sides finalized more bilateral agreements in the following years. During Prime Minister Modi's visit to Japan in 2016, 10 agreements and MOUs were signed. And in 2018, 32 agreements were signed during the Japan-India Annual Summit. Direct investment from Japan to India has gone up from a little more than $2 billion in 2014 to well over $3.5 billion in 2018. The two countries are expanding military cooperation. India and Japan are supposed to hold a virtual summit next month, where both leaders were supposed to sign a key military logistics pact. A pact to strengthen the Quad alliance between the United States, Australia, Japan and India. For as long as Abe was in office, he advocated for the Quad, pitching it as an effective counter to Chinese aggression. India can only hope that his successor is as committed to the relationship as Abe. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.